So Steve, you were just saying you remember the first time Dad.
First time.
He had no idea who John was.
First time, calls me in his office. I was practicing with Leon for a year and a half, 2 years. I was 28 years old. And he says to me, Steven, we got a new client. I met him once. Give me the lowdown. Who is this guy, John Lennon? Of course, it was a crazy question, so I talked to him a bit about it. He said, well, get ready. We're going to go meet him at the St. Moritz Hotel. And we're going to talk to him. You're coming with me. Okay. We go to the St. Moritz Hotel. This is all gospel. We're sitting there. We go into a suite. There was a living room. The convertible couch was pulled out. John and Yoko were in bed when Leon and I walk in. We're sitting around him. John's playing guitar. He's got earphones on and he's watching television, talking to us. And we're taking notes. I'm sitting there with an attaché case, which I have open, so I'm writing like this. At one time, I put my head down behind the attaché case. I went, I don't believe it. This I don't believe is happening. And I swear to you, I asked John Lennon, point blank, could you tell me why the Beatles broke up? And John's answer was typical. He said they broke up for one reason. I wanted them to. He didn't mention Yoko.
He controlled it.
He
didn't blame it on Yoko. He didn't blame it on the business.
I was done. I wanted to break up, and that's why they broke up. And from there, it's history.
How many times did you see them?
John?
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah.
We were up at his apartment a number of times.
And this is the Bank Street apartment?
No, at the
Dakota.
I was with him a few times. I used to go out to sign papers. We would work on paperwork. It'd have to be signed that day. I would go over to the record plant where they were recording and get him to sign papers, get Yoko to sign papers. And there were an assortment of characters I would meet there. Jerry Rubin was there, I remember one time. I remember them not fighting, but doing their creative thing. And Yoko screaming on the bike, John telling me to calm down.
But Dad was ensconced with the case, and you were running the practice during those times.
It's a very interesting transition that occurred between Leon and myself. You know, Leon is a very controlling guy, but when John came on the scene, Leon totally immersed himself in John's history, in John's case. That created a vacuum. And I filled the vacuum. That's what got us close. We used to, that was when we had carbon paper, and every letter that we did had 3 copies. There was a copy for the file, there was a copy for Leon to play with, and there was a copy we sent out. So what we used to do was we used to do all this work. I would sign it, but Leon, being Leon, wanted to read everything that went out. There's no computers, there's no email, so we would have on his couch all of the files lined up with the pink sticking out of them. I remember all the pinks.
And they couldn't go out until...
Well, no, it had to go out or else the place would stop.
But he kept an eye on what was going in.
He would read all these things, put his initials, read all these, put his initials next to it. So it became an opportunity for me, without any question, to get close to a guy that's was not easy to get close to.
So John Lennon was easier than my dad.
John was easy. John appreciated Leon. John always felt, and this is what I heard from him, that everyone was living off of him. And everyone wanted something extra. Can you endorse this? Can you do this? Can you do that? And Leon never asked him for anything, except to represent him. And Leon was very honest with him. And I found a kinship going on between this very conservative, orthodox guy and the Beatle. It was a strange thing. But they got close in their own way. And I think they did quite a job. And Leon got involved, really involved. The hearings, when we had these hearings, we had so many celebrities come and testify, and Leon was involved with preparing everyone, so it changed from practice that had a multitude of clients
to one.
To a practice where you were concentrating on one client.
Do you remember the trial? Was that also overwhelming?
The trial was fabulous. I remember the hearings at 26, it was at 20 West Broadway at the time. The hearings and the press and the testimony and the experts we brought in, the tell us about marijuana, about hashish, the experts we brought in to talk about the police in
Right.
the UK.
You had Andy Warhol and Jack Nicholson.
There was,
Peter
I don't even
Sellers
remember
and
all-
Jack
I
Lemmon.
don't even remember all the names that
Yeah.
were up there. Everyone wanted to testify. Everyone wanted to get their fingers in it. And what happened really was the public got behind this case. No one wanted John Lennon deported. It made no sense. And eventually the Court of Appeals have obviously agreed. And that had to do with scholarship, analyzing the law, looking at every single issue, because the briefs that we wrote had every issue humanly imaginable in it, but one issue stuck. One issue stuck.
And this is the beginning. This is the beginning of your career. How do you top that in a law firm?
No. Some people, you build your careers to a crescendo, and I was involved as a young kid with John Lennon. What the hell? I didn't approach that again, but John Lennon did bring in other people. I remember going with Joe Cocker, I remember Donovan, I remember a number of other, even George Harrison were involved.
Who's Donovan?
Donovan is a rock guy.
Yeah.
He had the same conviction. So many of them had that
Right.
conviction, and Cocker specifically had it. As a matter of fact, Cocker's manager just died, Michael Lang, who ran Woodstock. And Michael brought him into this.
Yeah.
So it was a challenging time. It was a great time, and I started off very young, but it cemented my relationship with Leo.